Aloha. I'm not gonna get tired of saying that. Welcome to No Ordinary Path. I am Kristen. My husband John is a travel nurse in Hilo, Hawaii for contract number 16. And the top question on everybody's mind has been, how did you get Cinder there and how much did it cost? In this video, we are going to go over all of the details. And to save you some time and help you out in the bottom, I've also put timestamps because it's a lot of information. So I hope this helps you if you're trying to bring your dog to Hawaii too. It's no secret, bringing your dog to Hawaii is both time-consuming and costly. Yes, it cost a lot of money to bring our dog. Yes, it was 100% worth it. Just look at the smile on her face. We couldn't imagine adventuring here for 4 months without her. She has been on every adventure with us since the beginning. Could we have left her with a family member? Probably, but we really didn't want to. Okay, so let's just jump right in. I am going to share actual expenses. There are 10 steps that I'm going to list here, and then I'm going to go over kennel requirements and some other miscellaneous things about flying with Hawaiian Airlines specifically. Okay, first off, if you're going to go to the state of Hawaii, we highly recommend that you find a good vet that has done this many times and is very familiar with it. Our clinic that we use, Parkway Animal Clinic in Peoria, is fantastic. I think they said they had like 4 dogs going to Hawaii at the same time, around the same time that Cinder was. So they're very well versed in it, and it was super helpful to have somebody that was knowledgeable with the process to help us through this. The next thing that I would suggest is for you to get on hawaii.gov and find their checklist for direct airport release for cats or dogs. This is going to give you a very clear step-by-step instruction on all the things that are required to bring your dog to Hawaii, and there are a lot. We printed ours out and made notes on it as we went so that we could make sure, double, triple check that we had everything in order before we got to Hawaii. Okay, so after you find your vet, after you get your checklist, you're going to want to make sure that your dog is microchipped and that it works. So have your vet scan it, make sure that it works and it's in good order. As some of you have heard, Hawaii is a rabies-free state. There are no cases of rabies here on the island. There never has been. They don't want there to ever be, and that is why the requirements are so strict. So the first requirement is that your pet needs to have 2 rabies vaccinations. They must be at least 30 days apart. The most recent one must not be expired, and it has to be more than 30 days before you arrive at Hawaii. So if you are missing both, you're going to want to start in advance because you need to space them. And if you're missing one, you want to make sure that you're at least a month ahead of the game because you need to wait 30 days after they get that rabies shot. Our recommendation is to start 4 to 6 months before you need to be in Hawaii. This is just to make sure you're not rushed and that you can go through everything step by step and have plenty of time and time for errors if they should occur. Both of these rabies certificates must be original certificates with the vet's signature in ink on the form. It cannot be a photocopy. So Cinder's last vet visit was back in Nevada, in Reno, and that's where she had the previous rabies shot. So we had to contact the vet there, who was not like our regular vet. It was just we were traveling and that's where it was done, and have them send us a new copy. Luckily, that vet was still there at that clinic and they were able to sign a new copy, and we paid to have it mailed to us. So that took some time to obtain that copy. And then we had a new rabies shot administered to Cinder, and I'm not including that in the cost because she would have needed it anyways, even if we weren't going to Hawaii. So I didn't include that in the price. The next step is going to be the FAVN Rabies Titer. This is blood work that must be done by your vet and sent to one of 2 facilities in the entire United States that can process this lab work. One of them is K-State in Kansas, and the other one is the DoD Food Analysis and Diagnostics Laboratory in Texas. We had ours sent to K-State, and that was back in July. We wanted to make sure that there was plenty of time for them to receive it and process it. They say it can take a couple of months for that to happen. Then once the test results are done and they've passed, then it is sent electronically to Hawaii, and that starts another 30-day time lapse. You cannot arrive within 30 days of your FAVN results. The good news is it's good for up to 3 years, so you can keep using it to come back to Hawaii if you want to come back again, and you don't have to have it redone. The bad news is it's very pricey. It costs anywhere from $350 to $450. I think we spent right around $400 for ours. After your FAVN is done, now we have to start talking about the documents that you need to send to the state of Hawaii. Now, there is an import form that you're gonna wanna fill out. And in this form, it has their microchip number on it. It has a whole bunch of information about your pet. And you do have to have an address in Hawaii where you will be going or where you will be staying. That goes on that form. And it costs $185 for the direct airport release. There's a couple of different things that could happen. If you don't follow all these steps, your animal could be kept for quarantine. And if you don't have everything in order, they could be kept the whole time that you're there, or up to 120 days. I stopped by the vet, I got the documents that I need, and now I am at PNC because I have to get a cashier's check for $185 to send with this packet of information to Hawaii. Okay, the check is procured. This whole thing is making me so nervous, like every little step. Okay, final step, FedEx, send it all out. So what you're going to mail to Hawaii is a copy of your FAVN, the 2 original rabies certificates with the original signatures on them, and the import form and a cashier's check. Gotta send them money. All of that gets sent to Hawaii. We FedExed it and had it tracked so that we absolutely made sure that they did in fact receive it at least 10 days prior to your arrival. It can be more than that, but it has to be at least 10 days before your arrival. Now, we did spend about $70 to FedEx it. There might be cheaper ways, might not be, but we trusted FedEx the most to make sure that it got there. Also, not every carrier will do overnight to Hawaii, so FedEx is the way to go in my opinion. You're not gonna believe this. Okay, so I came to Walgreens because it said it was a FedEx location, and they can only ship it's like a drop-off location. So it's not like a package and ship it out type of place, which is fine. I just need to go somewhere else, which is fine, but I got back in my Jeep and it won't start. Nothing works. And I have a bazillion errands to run, and my kids are at home alone. John's at work, and I am not within walking distance of home. My hero! Where's the starter fuse? I think we replace the fuse. Now he's gonna follow me to FedEx so I can get the paperwork sent. John got to come with me after all.
I need to get back to work.
I know. They should have their documents tomorrow. The next thing is the health certificate. The health certificate is something that is done by your vet, and it must be done within 14 days of arriving to Hawaii. There's a whole bunch of dates to remember in this timeline, but the health certificate is one that our vet recommended we do right before we leave for Hawaii. So we had hers done like 3 or 4 days before we got on the plane. And they give you this little pink carbon copy form. It looks nothing of it doesn't look that official, but it has to be an original copy, and there's only one original copy that you get. Okay, we just made it through our appointment. Cinder is in excellent health. She's lost 6 pounds since we started trying to lose weight earlier this year. Look at your smile, look at this happy dog. Everyone here is so awesome. They love her to death, and they're gonna miss her while she's gone. And we're all cleared. We're just waiting for the paperwork now. For Hawaiian Airlines, it also needs to state what temperatures your dog could sustain. And they usually recommend that that is between 45 and 85 degrees. Now, the cabin is heated or cooled to the same degree as the passenger cabin, but I'm guessing for outside temp purposes, they want to know what temperature is safe for your pet. The health certificate could be anywhere from $300 to $450. I think ours was right around $400. I'm gonna say 400, right in the middle. On the day of the flight, Hawaii should have all this information with them. All you have are copies of everything, because we kept like duplicate and triplicate copies of everything. You want a copy of everything and your original health certificate form. You'll take that to the airport when you check your dog in, and they're gonna put all of that in an envelope, and it goes in this pocket on top of the kennel. And of course, they're gonna like ID you and all this stuff, and then they're gonna weigh it, and then they're gonna ask you for some money. So let's talk about how much money that costs. If you're lucky enough to have a dog and kennel whose combined weight is under 70 pounds, congratulations, you can check it as baggage, which only costs you $225 on Hawaiian Airlines. If your dog plus the kennel weighs more than 70 pounds and Cinder weighs 84 pounds on her own, it was 138 pounds total with the kennel. Then they're going to charge you by the weight, and she's going to fly cargo instead of baggage. Our cargo total was $1,006. Now, there are 6 different sizes of kennels, and unfortunately, because of the requirements, we had to go with the highest, the largest, most massive kennel that you can find. We're gonna get to the kennel requirements here in just a few minutes. But after they check your dog in, then it's pretty straightforward. After that, we loaded onto the plane and we asked a flight attendant to verify that our dog was on board with us, because I was really nervous about that. And she was. She did great for the flight. If you saw our video last week, you can see the drop off and the pickup. She was in high spirits on both ends of it. I think she did really well. The pickup is the easiest part of the whole thing, provided you've gone through all of the other steps. All they did was ID us, and then they said, here you go, she's all yours. But when you land, they will whisk your animal straight over to the quarantine animal station, and they will verify all of your paperwork and scan her microchip and make sure that everything is in order. And if it is, then you're good to go. If you didn't send your paperwork in 10 days before, your animal could be held for quarantine. If you did not wait the 30 days after your rabies shot or the Rabies Titer, your animal will have to go in quarantine for the remainder of those 30 days. If there's any parasites or anything found on your animal, ticks, anything like that, they will hold your animal for quarantine. So there's a few reasons why they might, but other than that, it's a pretty straightforward process as long as you follow all of the steps. Hawaiian Airlines specifics. We flew Hawaiian, so all I can speak on is Hawaiian Airlines. I know that Alaskan Airlines is another really good one that flies animals very frequently in cargo. I've heard that they're cheaper. I wish I would have done some more research before we left, but what I didn't like about Alaskan is they did not have any direct flights from Phoenix. So we would have had to do a layover, and I was really uncomfortable doing a layover with Cinder. So that's why we went with Hawaiian Airlines. So could we have saved money? Probably. And we're going to look into that on the way back, because we only bought a one-way ticket here. We will have to figure out how to get everyone back to the island when we're done, or back to the mainland when we're done here. For Hawaiian Airlines, there's a couple little quirky things. You can take your dog with you if it fits in a carrier that will go under your seat. You can take the dog on the plane with you, like in the main cabin. And then, as I said, if they're up to 70 pounds in their kennel, everything combined, they can ride with the baggage. And if they're more than that, then they have to go with cargo. And really, it's all in the same area. It's just handled by a different subsidiary. It's Hawaiian Airlines Cargo instead of Hawaiian Airlines, but it's all on the same plane and in the same area. It's kind of confusing. If you live in a place that's really warm, like we do in Phoenix, there is a pet embargo where they will not fly animals between April 15th and October 15th. So if you do the math, if you're following what I'm saying, we can't fly back to Phoenix from here. We will have to fly back to somewhere else, rent a car, and then drive to Phoenix, because it will be too hot for her to land, too hot for her to fly in cargo. If the outside temperature is higher than 85 degrees or lower than 45 degrees, they cannot fly. Okay, let's talk about the kennel. There are certain requirements for the kennel. Hawaiian Airlines has a really great checklist on all of the drop-off requirements for your dog. So you can go on there and print it off. It's a really good one to follow. You can also go in before your flight, which is highly suggested, to make sure that everything passes and that you won't have any problems, which is exactly what we did. And we're so glad we did, because when we went the first time, we had a Series 500 kennel and it did not pass their requirements. After you get it put together, have a kid go in there and she'll figure it out.
She'll smell it. I guarantee you she smells it. Yeah, that's a good girl.
Yeah. Good girl. Now turn around. Can you turn around? Yeah! Yay!
We do have to take the wheels off.
Your dog has to be able to sit, stand, and lie down all in a comfortable position and have 3 inches of space all around them on all sides. So nose, tail, sides, there must be at least 3 inches, and that's what failed when we took her in with the Series 500 kennel. All right, Cinder, are you ready to go see how this works out? She's like running away from it. We're gonna take Cinder to the airport and they're gonna verify that this is the right size. We got our bag of you-know-what. What do you think, Cinder? This is the airport. She's like, I'm not impressed. We came, this is why we triple check things. Her kennel's too small.
So first he brought out like the metal crate size, and then when that won't work, you know, you can't fly in one of those. So he was like, yeah, I'm not sure if we have any, and I don't know if anybody will have any. And I'm like, oh gosh, yeah, that's it.
That's it. It's ginormous. This dog is gonna have more space than any of us on the plane. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's significantly bigger. So it has to be a hard case. If it's like a snap-on thing, it has to have metal screws to secure it on all sides of the kennel. It has to have only one door and it must be ventilated on each side. They also have to have 2 bowls, one for food and one for water, secured on the inside. And they are allowed to have a water bottle, which we tried to teach her how to drink out of a hamster bottle. She didn't do very well with that. Like there was about this much water drank from it. So I don't know if it leaked or if she actually got to drink some, but she was quite thirsty when she got off the plane. And they also want you to bring a small bag of food to put on top of the kennel in case there are delays or layovers or something where they need to be fed, the animal has food with them. So as you saw, we were really nervous when we dropped her off, but really the process was pretty smooth. Yes, it did cost us a lot of money. The grand total was $2,041 to bring our dog to Hawaii, and we still have to get her back home. So like I said, we're gonna look into other options and things. There's one other piece to this. If you are going to be inter-island hopping, if you're flying directly to like Kona or Hilo or something, usually your mainland plane will come to Honolulu first. You'll get on a different plane and then go to a smaller island. If you're gonna be island hopping with a large dog, don't expect to put them on Hawaiian Airlines because they won't fit. We had to go with a completely different company to send her over here to Hilo. So she rode on Aloha Air cargo on the way to Hilo, and we're gonna have an episode coming up about that in the future. That was a whole nother logistical piece that we had to figure out, but we did. We took 3 different planes, and we're gonna go over all of that in a later video. You'll wanna stay tuned for that. Thank you for hanging with me today and looking at all these cute pictures of our dog, and I hope that if you are planning on bringing your dog to Hawaii, maybe you're moving here, maybe you're taking an extended work position here in Hawaii, like travel nursing. I hope this video helps you, both gives you some idea on how to do it, and also encourages you that it is possible and you can do it. You just have to have a lot of patience, plan it out well in advance, and be prepared to throw down some money. Dogs are like family. They're worth it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more adventures, and we'll see you out there.